Good morning, or whatever it is, wherever you are. Kitch has more questions, and it's sort of interesting to look for answers. So he's trying to play around with some colors. And for colors, well, we can probably poke around a little bit. Well, we only see, well, no, we see a red and an orange quite easily. So those are faction colors, but apparently it's using the commander color. And to have individual commander colors, so that might be a bit more interesting. But if each commander has a color, then we need to have the systems do actual faction colors. Color appears to be set. AI and AI color. System.star.ai. Well, modding this is going to be its own little hell. But maybe you could go into the systems and fix it later. System.ownerColor. It's also setting up a boss for later. So actually, can't we just get to this? Console. It'd probably be model.system. No, because this is closure everything. Self.galaxy.systems. Where is self model here? Systems. Probably a KO object. Yep. Okay, so actually, you should be able to go in here and like recalculate some things. Figuring out timing for that might be tricky. So AI.color 0. AI.boss. So this is this for this given system. System view model. System star. This is a for each. That's probably the index. AI is system.star.ai. Okay. Oh. Oh, this is primary and secondary colors. Okay. So that's why it's right over each element to do it into that. Normalized color. Is an array. So what's concat 3? So we think that that's an array of going to be like, you know, whatever. Is owner color used? Is that like supposed to be some sort of alpha value? Owner icon. How about CD Galactic War? And really, this should be GW Play. Well, it could have some weird stuff. Where are we using that? Oh, owner icon dot color. Oh, that's it. Wait, so is this per just some per star stuff? Connect to, maybe. So that's a computed that says if this changes, recompute owner icon dot color. So this is a 111. Why are we appending 3 to it? Create.js. So this kind of comes down to Create.js. Which it might be a very different version at this point. How about docs? Is this our own little function? Function create bitmap. Create.js dot. So this is bitmap. Params. And this could be a very different version now. That's general object. Why are we doing 3? Well, I don't know if that really matters. It's just, how are we using color? Let's see, so this is actually running here. So one of the things we want to know, and I might actually want to get some code going for this. We have a function here that is going through all of the systems. Star system. System view model. Well, this is the system. But this is, yeah, system. Planets, star. We've got an AI. Biome. Description. Owner color. Faction, well, it's faction 3. I don't know why that's going into owner color. Well, no, that's just a constant 3 node. So it's a very indirect faction. We have no reference to the faction object. We've got GW factions. Minion. Faction equals faction index. Okay, we're faction index. So this must be for the player character in their faction. Oh. Right. I could run code that affects systems. But this computed is already defined. And we'll keep on executing. Which means you might be forced to shadow. This is part of game view model. For each systems, it's not a value that's used anywhere, it's just a computed that exists, and every time a property changes, it's going to update. Game view model is the model. So by the time mods load, that's already going to executed. Yeah, maybe you could override it if nothing ever triggered an update. That's... Alright, so we want... the console is just such an awkward place to do anything. Or for any extensive text editing. Alright, so I think I cleared most stuff out of here. Could probably grab... What did I call that? That was... something with foreign intelligence. I don't know why it's not loaded. Section... Well, that'll kind of work. Just as a basis for modifying that scene. So this is just a GW hack right now. So we need... So it had its own little mod thing. I don't think I'm going to need HTML and CSS for this one. Don't have that, don't have that, don't really have that. It needs to update. And it needs an ID. That's returning CSS style RGBs. That's defining there. That's pretty specific. And then we're injecting that. So really, we just needed something that goes into the GW Play scene. And the thing we want to stick in there, well, it's going to be a code. That is going to be reference. Is what happens if we for each model.galaxy.systems we can try doing it once. We're probably going to need the AI. Okay, so that's setting, so we can set this to faction color, but actually, why is AI color faction color? Yeah, so we can, actually, yeah, that's, pulling the AI, pulling the AI, pulling the AI. Well, the AI is probably set up in GW start. Player color, or there might be an AI cards minion. Is color just a property? Yeah, okay, so color is just a property. Well, no, there's two colors. Minion color and not faction color. Well, so the challenge here is... so we have Seeker Hectate, Seeker Nephthys, and Seeker Concetu. Seeker Hectate. Okay, so this is actually one of them. So that's the AI. So if we reset... So there's that object. If we set AI.color 0, or actually AI.color 0 to like 255, and then AI is AI. Okay, so it is using that. Why AI.color pulls minion color and not faction. Oh, so it is pulling minion color. So actually this is relevant for the use the faction color part. And faction is a property of the AI. And then faction is, well, now things get complicated. Okay, so require, actually I probably should have gone, one of my other mods actually did do the require system for this. I don't remember if I had to do any other bootstrapping on it. Share GW factions. That has to not have that. Function require GW factions. And then we are not invoking that. Faction index length, GW factions index. Player faction, faction color, just and then we want to set down around here, color. We're gonna need you. Map faction.color. And for reasons we didn't really fully get into, we add a 3 to it. All right, so now we have to exit out. See if we can get this code to load. Mod info. There should be a display name. Probably no point in making lots of new games.
Galactic map online.
Alright, are you loaded? Index is not defined. I probably copied some code there. Yeah, that was just index.
Galactic map online.
Cannot read property faction. What? Where am I asking for dot faction? Oh, AI. So we have to check for the existence of AI.
Galactic map online.
Why blue? Are faction colors not properly defined? Or are they different? Okay, so in vanilla, AI colors are faction colors. Oh. So Legionist Machina only defines the faction color. For this... And those were two different things, which makes me think that something is wrong with this. Oh, wait. Faction.color is also a two-part thing. It's interesting that it could use that at all.
Galactic map.
Okay, there we go. And that also sort of proved that's actually what it's pulling. Now, I'm just curious. This feels like it should be an alpha value. Maybe? I don't know why we're doing 3. Oh. But why 3? Yeah, okay, so that's 0.5. Yeah. But Chris wanted to make it faction so we could give the AIs colors. Oh, I wonder if they're like... Something, yeah, something with the blend mode they're using. They're like supercharging alpha to... blend it in.
Galactic map online.
Okay, so that's that. Okay, so... I don't know if this will behave well under changes. but you can just go through and set it. So I probably need to remember how to turn on cheat so I could go through a couple transitions, but that partially answers one question. The other question is, where was AI color getting its thing from? So in some cases, it's getting it from a boss. That doesn't affect minions. So it's probably going to be GW start. No, star. Player color, player color. Minion color. Worker.ai.color. Worker.ai.minions. So this might be a little bit faction dependent. Because some of the bosses, well, no, because it's for each info.workers. Worker.ai, where's worker? Team info. Set AI data. Personality. If it's undefined, do that. Econ rate, size mod. All the personality stuff. Where did I see color? Minion.color is worker.ai.color. That's GW play. Create bitmap. Params. This is still create bitmap, isn't it? Commander view model, which should be the player, I think. Self.player. And bosses. Selection view model. Hover specific things. Okay, so that gets at worker.ai.color. So minions are getting it from their boss. Info.workers. Team.workers equals team.workers. To keep them unique. Team info is a blank set of workers. Oh no, this removes worker name equals AI name, spread AI. Worker.star.distance, set AI data, if num minions greater than 0. Worker AI color. But what fills in? So like, faction 0 has only the faction color. No individual AI has color. Now, some of the others have it defined. But where does that AI get its color if it's not from the minion? Selection view model. Maybe it's the individual things? Self.galaxy hover false. Selection view model. Config.galaxy hover icon URL. Well, there is a hover and a selection there, but is there more than one? We get the system of that. But it's a selection view model. Color is a config.color, which we're not even passing in. If not color, they're constants. Commander view model color. AI and AI.color, set it to that. Alright, so faction 0 is Legionist Machina. That looks like a blue-green to me, so that's probably Cayenne. Okay, so I forget what these are. I think one of them is give tech load game. Reveal map. Oh no, that's me. So there are no minions here. So those are conquered. It may have cleared them? Are there any other factions that use that color scheme? You know, Faction 1 has at least boss colors. Faction 2 has at least box colors. Faction 3 has at least boss colors.
Galactic map online.
Oh. Oh, nope, and there's one there. So Legate Hositis. And there's probably like a model dot selection. Selection view model has a system. System view model has a star. Biome click. Has an owner color, which has been converted down, but that looks like that blue, which is only defined on the faction. Does GW Factions perhaps do some processing? No. And we've checked everything that it does ordinary assign of color. So that's owner color. System.ai. No, star. Yep, no, system.star. .ai. Does have a color. Oh, maybe it could be a object override style. GW is, that's a card. This would have to be a variable of some sort. Yeah, CSS, not so interesting. That's for a bitmap. Faction icon. Commander view model. Selection. That's for move to. Icon URL is a selection view model, which should only be a selection, I think. Player color. Okay, boss and boss model. No, this is the same bit, so we have to have got an AI. Well, is that only for bosses? Yeah, there is no boss defined. Maybe this happens in spread. It starts with the boss? No, not spread. GW start does the spreading stuff, right? Team equals Ada. GW teams make worker. Get team, faction index. Extend team with color faction remaining minions. Team equals sample faction dot team. Make the boss specifically. Make a worker. So everything gets, so get the team. Okay, so teams is just the bosses? Yeah, we're studying system definitions. Yep, teams, and then minions. Template loader factions. So that's get a team. So let's get the boss. If oh, then there's referee. That's player. player armies.push AI.color AI true. But this is making armies out of the AI data. And that's getting the CSS again. Get team. Okay, so map AI factions. GW teams, get teams. So that's going to sample one team, which is to say one boss from each faction with the faction color. We're going to make teams with a set of workers and then reassigning the faction to it. GW teams make worker. Then when we spread to a star with an AI, spread function in breeder when spread function star AI clone deep parent if star has an AI, Galaxy Stars spawn index.ai. Sort the stars by distance from spawns. Shuffle spawns. Unshift origin times AI count, graph.calc distance spawns. Breadth first. This shouldn't happen. Not enough stars to spawn AI. Leaves.push. So spawns are stars times AI count. Graph.calc distance. Nodes callback. Node 0. For each, okay, calc distance. Now she does for each node. Distance is 0, callback. Do we call back multiple times? We may call back multiple times. Yeah, it's pretty complex. I found a way to reset things to faction color or to whatever color. I haven't done enough checking how this holds up against state changes causing the computes to recompute and resetting things. But I'm trying to chase back color, and it's pretty wild. So where were we? GW play. So 917, the AI has a color. Let's see, the next step was... I'm actually trying to chase back exactly where that happens. Yeah. Well, this ended up just searching for terms, honestly. I tried color equal and didn't find anything that was actually super informative. Then I tried the JavaScript object version of it, and we found, was it GW minion? No, that's card. Out of the CSS. Not faction. GW teams. So a team is it's picking one from teams, which is the bosses, and then it's extending that with the faction color. So when it creates each faction to populate the system, it's grabbing the faction color. If we look up forget team, that's only used in GW start, where it's scattering. So that gets you your factions with one boss, which actually it comes back to team info. It does the team, which is the set of bosses. The workers, it is everybody else, and then we stick the faction information back in it. And then I'm trying to figure out exactly how the colors propagate. I mean, figure out how it pulls minion color, not faction color. Yeah, so it's spreading that to, well, this is in play, overwriting the color for the system. I still haven't figured out how the color propagates. Actually, maybe team make worker. Team.workers. Sample from team.workers assigned to AI. So that makes a worker out of a pool of workers. Else there's minions. Oh, yeah, so I don't know if we're using team.workers. Team.workers. Okay. Yeah, it could use a total rewrite for modding purposes. I mean, the thing is that this sort of encapsulation is sort of considered good programming practice precisely because it prevents people from mucking with it. But if you have an explicitly moddable game, you want people mucking with it. And then it also gets back into software design where you sort of put in explicit mod your extension points, although a lot of modding ends up doing things in unexpected ways, so that's hard. Like with the Elm stuff I'm doing, the model is just this giant data structure that has everything in it. If the entire game could be described as a data structure, it would be easy to go in and tweak things. We've got a lot of functional closures that are actually triggering and defining behavior and updating things. So you can't really wend your way back in there without just nuking everything at the start. So the question is, where does populate scatter some AIs? Shuffle faction team. Team info, and then breeder actually does the spread, which makes a worker AI team. For this star, so somewhere in there it must be copying the color. But why would it be overriding any provided properties? So this is already generated. Well, because it's already generated, the data is already in there. Although I think it, I'm not sure what it saves versus what it regenerates. So right now we're doing this that resets this based on, well, really we just have to not do this line. Resets that
Galactic map online.
based on the faction color, because you kind of want to keep it the same if you're messing with AIs. You are, we said you were faction 0. And this is Legate Hositis. So if he decided he was really red, the problem is I don't know whether the color information gets saved with the game, because there are definitely places where it goes back and matches by name. So we're in Galactic War. GW play. Save game. They said the manifest is a little bit like a data structure, I guess, but there's a lot of functional stuff going on. This is probably manifest. And they use the database system, which there might be tools for. Resources. GW manifest. So we've got some systems. We've got a bunch of manifests. Victus Commander. I guess this is all the history stuff. Turns 1, wins 0. So yeah, so this is one of them. ID 414714. And then games. So this is the individual systems. This is the galaxy. Well, there's the stars. AI. Okay, so the color is saved in the game. So it's a little bit like, maybe if you could catch it at the right time, you could update it as a data structure. But usually by the time the mods run, it's already in memory with a bunch of closures around things. So the question is, where does the color propagate? And it's probably, we are teams like make worker. Is kind of it. Make worker, star AI, spread, AI.team. If team has workers, grab one of the workers. Also, if there's a minion, assign AI minion. So that's a Lodash function. I can kind of guess what it does, but the question is, how does it treat original versus imported object on replacement properties or same properties? So it's own enumerable string keying projects of source objects. So team.workers, that's probably own enumerable. To the destination object. Source objects are applied from left to right. Subsequent sources overwrite property assignments of previous sources. .c. Assign A0. Foo has an A, so it overwrites with 1. Bar has a C, so it adds that. So the assign suggests that minion properties should overwrite anything of the input template. So because it's a random selection, we pretty much have to, so minions name. It's not going to be easy for me to add random colors to everybody to... Well, I could update minions to... Or the... Of course, I guess that's going to make two things that are red, technically, so it wasn't a good color choice.
Galactic map online.
What was... They were... Oh, gotta explore this.
New content is available.
Seeker, they were legates.
Scanning system. Armor upgrade available.
Seeker. Uh... Okay, so the boss had a color on it. That got left. I still can't go and select these. But obviously some of these have to be from this faction, so that overrode that. Or the AI color, which I guess we'd have to get in game to see if that worked. And then we want to see if this is drawing.
Galactic map online.
Oh. Okay. I thought, well, it could have been really weird system generation. I thought this was working. This is faction color. Because when we bungled this, it did change things. Normalized color equals 0, 1, 0.
Galactic map online.
So why isn't faction color working? Does it matter if the game had it defined as override? Oh. Yeah, so this is the thing I was talking about earlier about state updates coming along and replacing it. So model dot rewrite color.
Galactic map online.
So if we see, so we have to get this, look at everything. Model.rewrite color. That does in fact overwrite the individual selection, at least until something bumps the state. And even then, these got... Well, these might not have a faction anymore. Or they don't have an AI, so they can't be updated. Because they don't have a faction. They don't have an AI. So this is a problem. So I think we pretty much... so there's the teams, minions... You pretty much see the individual minion colors. But overriding factions. So if you've done that, so this depends on the AI. This is a for each You could try to force it. You wouldn't necessarily want to run this multiple times now, but... And hope this one runs later?
Galactic map online.
Okay, so that's for everything we can see. And it might actually be the visibility state update that makes it rewrite that. So that's not triggering this one. I'd probably have to have this computation depend on every variable, every computed that the other one depends on, and then pray ordering works in my favor. So this computed depends on AI.color, depends on, well, there's the cheat. System.connected, cheats.nofog. We're going to touch system.ownerColor. System.star.hasCard. So player color really shouldn't change. Technically, the boss model is sort of in there. So cheats no fog is the one that was causing that to recompute in this case, I think. And we did a bunch of code. Okay. Yep.
Online.
Cheats is undefined. Cheats is a local variable. Okay, it's available as model.cheats.
Galactic map online.
Okay, so that might work. Okay, so this doesn't really need to be a function.
Galactic map online.
And this is a test value. Because no factions are green. I guess I don't technically need the require here either.
Galactic map online.
And this should be, properly speaking, re-indented.
Galactic map online.
All right, dependencies. These will cause the base code that updates color to rerun. So we have to run under the same conditions and pray we run later than that code. Okay, so that updates that, I think. Each system displays fashion color. Each color appears to be set. YA pulls minion color. Well, actually, that is AI.color. Well, but the structure of it is, do we still have, not selection. Well, it was 0 before, yeah. Oh, that's, we actually just want, and then, oop. Yeah, so you're undefined, so we actually have to find, in this system, there we go. It has an AI. Team. Maybe that's supposed to be like a false value. So I know that GW ramp adds commanders. So we have to replace make game. Scatter some AIs. Make worker. This would be minions. Info.boss minions. Yeah, max minions, min minions. Dists. Worker.ai.minions. So these just have no minions. And then minions are those things which have their colors. But the base code overwrites minion color with worker AI color. Was it minion? GW play. But that might have been in like... No, it's GW start. But this is make game, and I think the overhaul mod is already overwriting make game. So really minion.color equals what you'd want to do, minion.color or Hmm. All right, so I think that we can do that. We know where we have to do that so that it doesn't. We tested that a minion as a top level main worker would use its color. Or that the AI color, which should get propagated to the commander. And we've got minion color to get set there. All right, so I think that's pretty good. All right, so let's try. Client mods. Think this will make GW play. Use faction color without having to nuke everything. I'm not sure how spoiler would work with a well, it should go in as a file. It'll probably understand it's a text file and hopefully do something reasonable. Okay, yeah, just a file. Minion colors are overrid. I lost. Circa GW start 499, which I believe will already be in the function you're overwriting. Should probably be or worker.ai that color. And some of this is actually code. All right, so I think that is answered enough that he might be able to get something there. So I think that's all of the PA questions I have right now. I have one other thing that should be pretty quick, but it's not PA. So let's get back to science and technology, not modding. Twitch, subscriptions, API update. And this is going to be in a couple projects, actually. So so I have to, I essentially got some documents up and did the basic, decoder translation on a train last week. So I think, yeah, I already uploaded that. Decode, Helix, subscription. So just mapping out a couple fields and then defining all the decoders for them. We just haven't actually tested that against real data. In particular, there were a bunch of syntax errors in this sample here. Missing commas and, well, the dot dot for other answers was sort of reasonable. But we have to do some very messy hacking to get this to show up other places. So, this gets used. Oh, the subscriptions API, I think it's just stream credits right now. So I should be able to go. Now we've got to get this using the local file again. No, we need the Elm JSON. So we have to add, I like to do it above so I can have the comma here and have to mess with the other line. We have to go down. We have to go to Elm Twitch API source. Then we have to remove this, and you can't have, and it'll be a different version by the time we do have it. And then I'm going to have to add some dependencies back into here. Like I think the date strings may have to move back up. So this, well, or maybe it just automatically attempts to do everything. No there. Elm install. Nope, it needs an argument. So I guess we're just gonna try to make and yep, cannot find that in a direct thing. So this has to move up here. Okay, so that was sufficient to let it compile. And then going the other way, we're going to have to delete a bunch of cached files from the local build directory so it doesn't try to use the cached objects instead of getting them from the real module. Right. So the current code, and I guess I should get everything running here. Okay, so you're still here. We need an Elm reactor to serve the files. We need another browser window. 8,000? Yeah, 8,000. Public index. Well, I often do this, but it just messes up a lot of sites and applications. So far, I haven't run into anything, so I've just never bothered switching to day mode. It does get a little weird with some of the input boxes. So I think for this, I actually have to... Yeah, for this I am definitely going to have to log in. Which I was already logged into the browser, so yay. And it's also monitoring chat. And we're going to want to keep an eye on our compiler here. Well, no, actually in here... No, this doesn't... Yeah, this doesn't compile the JavaScript file. It's directly loading a Elm file for the React. The Reactor is just a convenient web server at this point. So right now, we have a subscriptions, but it is Kraken subscriptions. Oh, and I haven't dealt with pagination either. Yes, in fact, I'm going to start calling Tuesdays and Thursdays off to make sure I have time to do that. So I can't... Well, Kraken.pagin... Well, pagination's different. Shoot. So I'm probably going to have... right now I'm very bad at marketing. A lot of it comes from... Well, a lot of it has come from just being at Chicago meetups and stuff. Right now I've been looking at Upwork a bit. And of course I'm out here doing code as well. Subscriptions air, subscriptions... That's subscriptions. Yeah, but I don't... Well, I was originally looking for some other sites that apparently got consolidated into them. To Patal? TopTal. Okay, I'll look into that later. Okay, so the ugly thing here is I implemented some pagination that is now very, very different. So I think it might be easier... Well, how about we implement this under a new callback for now, and then we rename it later. So this is going to be 8 subscriptions, which we're not going to paginate for now. I want to see it work. And then fetch subscriptions. I mostly want that other code for reference for the moment. So I might be able to do a direct switch on this. Okay, and this is where the high contrast does become a problem. You see, we're also learning things about accessibility. Reference. This requires specific user IDs to check if subscribed. This has to be done, and I'm going to have to check if I'm using... I think the other one also needed that. Oh, and I may have to update my token. Which is actually in the view. Channel bit read, yeah, channel subscriptions, not channel read subscriptions. So I might have to do some stuff with that. Yep, broadcaster subscriptions. So it is Helix subscriptions. And it does not need an you have to provide broadcaster ID, and it has to provide the token. Return, yep, there's no parameters on that. Wait, oh, you're right, yeah, offsets work entirely different for this. Oh, but that means that code won't work. Yep. Without the function it calls. So... temporary renaming. Helix subscriptions. This will need a page token at some point, but I don't have it yet. Broadcaster ID equals, and we have nothing else. I'm just going to see how you use. That might be a generic documentation for how they do that. You also had an offset, which will eventually be a cursor, but not yet. And this should be Helix. Is there anything different in that? Client ID, auth, decoder tagger, URL. Temporary thing there. Don't have an offset. Don't have paginated right now. And this should be helix.subscriptions. String, decoder, list Helix subscriptions. You also have to be temporarily renamed. Oh, I did. Such consistency. But we have defined a thing. It's going to want us to do that for our update function. We'll probably, actually, we can probably do, could probably do something like that for the first version, for the first test. So subscriptions H is not paginated yet. No, actually, subscriptions H. Oh, no, Tiger doesn't have. Yeah, I think I had an offset value in there before for the cursor stuff. Okay. Oh, my subscriptions have to get updated. Yeah, keeping that code around is getting expensive. Helix.subscription. What is user ID? It is user. We don't have a user display name, which can be a user name. Which isn't actually even a display name. Months. I never even filled that in. This might be for other things. Yeah, just tier. Maybe the other one returns? No. Just plan and tier. Nor, oh, I have a thing for subplan. Plan name. I think this is tier, and that's being left as 0. Right, month is something we get if we get the alert. Okay, so Twitch subscriptions, records. This is pretty much if we have a cursor, there should be more records. It's maybe pagination. I don't know if it tells us anything. But right now I can't use this. So right now it's going to look a lot like that. And I can look back at that. And then that's the command. And I'll look back at the other one, which is why I'm keeping it around. If you need any inspiration. Trying to implement pagination for this API. We lost our parentheses. Tier is misspelled. All right, so this, I'm not sure what it's going to do about the auth because I changed my required scope. So go back to here, log in again. Now we authorize with new stuff. Okay. There were no errors. Oh, nope. Subscriptions fetch error, bad status. Now, the old API returned me as subscribed to myself. Unauthorized. Is this passing the correct thing? I didn't update the call, perhaps? That's entirely possible. So that's pagination. Refresh, yep. Fetch subscriptions, that's pagination. Had that not compiled yet? Okay, there's no error message. Network. That was the options for it. It does return myself. And there's the cursor. So that is some intermediate work. I didn't get a console just for stuff. Yeah. There's not any easy way around that. I guess I do have the other code in source control. I always reference it there. Eh. Uh, Subscriptions. All right, so now this is a general pagination question. Okay, maybe you can get it started. Maybe there's a search feature somewhere. Get extension analytics. That was not useful, guys. Ah, okay. Contain the required query for more streams. But how do you pass the pagination information? Do I pass cursor equals? Cursor like. Paginate in reverse. Oh, it's an encoded, huh. Only, okay. But what do you do with it? Array of games. Docs API. Maybe I'll end up with an example. Is it a header? Is it a query field? After equals. Wait. So that's one of the regular parameters. The only parameter is broadcaster ID. So that has to be under documented. Let's so that's cursor. I wonder if they also forgot to document first. Well, that was ugly. Now you see, offset was a thing you could always include. After means I have to conditionally include the tag that goes along with it. But, let's try and get back to here. We can add a... Let's start with that, see if it complains. Let's be a plus plus. Helix subscriptions, we got data. Now the problem here is that I have nothing I can actually cursor through. Oh, wait, no, we didn't compile. No, we did compile, okay. So I have no reason, well, I guess I could give a cursor once and then get 0 results, and then we would know we were done. Something like that. So we will have no cursor on the first one, so cursor's going to have to become a maybe. A maybe string. Which has to go into... here, so it can go into... your returning string. Go into here. So we can go... cursor maybe dot map over. There's probably a fancier way to do this. And after equals maybe with default empty string. But now we have to update this call. So this, a refresh, is going to be no cursor. Okay, so it's actually a parsing error. Type annotation. Oh, right. We started doing this after here and didn't fix up all the syntax. Okay, so that should do nothing else. Pagination. Can't remove that code the way I've done this. Alright, so we do have to look at differences. Because this is getting kind of annoying. We're going to do that, because we're kind of prototyping stuff. So existing pagination, oh, right. Paginated, which means we cut out U, get this properly renamed. We need to get rid of the Kraken version of this. Fetch subscriptions. Now, pagination. Nothing's going to compile because we're still doing Kraken stuff. Or it's kind of preparing this for a possible future module. So this is offset total data. This needs to return, before it was just number of records and offset information. Now we need the cursor following this. And even with no following data, we seem to get a cursor every time. So we're going to have to see how that works out getting to the end. Offset, so this is passing in the old offset and getting out the total. So paginated field pagination cursor. Field pagination field cursor, And that's all we get. I probably need, oh, this is always going to have a cursor. Stream credits. Okay, that compiles. Actually, this does affect this, because we need to do a helix.paginated subscription. And we get an OK. Helix.paginated cursor. And then for now, we just goes debug.log. Now, fetch subscriptions also has to do helix.paginated. Yes. All right, console. We got a cursor. And this is where it would have been convenient to have the old code, but subscriptions. So I think we might want to count these again. List.map subscribers. List.link subscribers. So this is where we have to get back. I guess really all we care about is empty, isn't it? If where do I This is a pure command. Okay, so that one's fine. User. So I might need something to say whether it is the first. In as much as we used to have the offset that told us, hey, it's the first one, you need to replace everything. Because otherwise I have to remember to clear the subscriptions every single time. I don't know if, like, maybe pagination will give us an offset. All right, so let's not worry about saving the data right now. So we'll always do this. If list.empty subscribers, then do that, else command.none. Or no, actually, if it's empty, do nothing. If it's not empty, we got some results. Fetch subscriptions. You need the model.auth. And we have to do a bit of this as well. Subscriptions. Doesn't need to be a batch. Model.auth, the ID, and our cursor. And here's where we hope this doesn't infinitely loop. Model.user ID. List.isEmpty. Oh, you're expecting a maybe. All right, this is where we have to be really watching this and kill it if need be. Okay, we're not spamming it. We get an options with cursor. All right, so we get this. We get, that's options. Yep. No data, pagination. Here's another cursor. So nothing about the response itself will tell us whether it is the first response. And that's just going to replace it with 0 with that. Well, that's not data we need from pagination itself. That's something... How was I tracking that? Oh, I was passing the offset down because it had to get passed through the whole chain, and then I could put it back into the tagger. This is going to be paginated Oh, this takes a result. So subscriptions offset. It's not in paginated anymore. Paginated had the total records, but I think I gave paginated a place to put the offset because it's like, well, geez, anything would need that to know if you've gotten total or not. Subscriptions offset. We don't care in this case. Other subscriptions. We don't need it in the URL. We do need it here. So fetch subscriptions from here passes down the offset. No. It passes down offset plus list.length subscriptions. You are offset 0. So that when we come in here, we can say if offset equals 0, then do a hard set. Else equals list dot, is it concat or append? Transform. Concatenate a bunch of lists. Put 2 lists together. And it's in order. So it's model.subscribers probably. Okay, what do we got? List.length. Model to platform. No, it was Twitch subscription. No, subscribers. I was doing subscriptions somewhere. And now this is going to affect how we actually store data, but we're not showing our default. Yep, wrong language. All right, that might be working. All right, so step 1, we've got the code updated. And it's a little bit confused about the difference because what we're doing was a lot of things that are similar to how the old code used to work. Support subscriber pagination. All right, so we now appear to have proven that our JSON decoder actually works. Elm Twitch API. So I think I did most of the stuff for this. Let's see, so changelog, we were expecting it to be 430, Helix subscriptions. No reason to remove the Kraken ones just yet. Elm JSON still says 4.2. So Elm. Aha. Wait. It's a module. Helix decode doc subscriber. Oh. Changed my terminology around. I guess that's a cute little catch. Get status. Yes, 4.03. That updates that. So we'll have to commit and push that. Well, no, I think I don't push the tag. Because the Elm commit process, there's like no, I forgot what they usually call it. Sort of a fake mode where you can check everything without actually publishing it. Fix doc line, bump version. So if we go Elm publish, it's going to complain about is not tagged on GitHub, which I think is about as far as we can push the checking safely. And the tag format is get tag 4.3.0. Okay, so that should be published. So now in theory, we can come back to here. We can go into our Elm JSON. We can remove our source. We can move this back down to indirect dependencies. We can come over to Twitch API to clean up our cache. Stream credits, Elm stuff. Elm explorations. So yeah, everything Twitch should not be here now. So Elm install. And we want to make sure you do a complete reload on everything. And it compiles. So git status, just the diff. The Elm tool has differences with my editor about how the final line should be formatted. Git commit -m. Switch back to published Twitch package. Alright, and then I'll have to update that so it's the published version, so I don't have to worry about any API outages. Not that I have any subscribers. And that is about what I wanted to do today. Alright, well, we've already pretty much got the credits going there. And that is going to be it for now. Let me get this off for next time. And so this is about when I'm usually on. Today, I am not doing Stepmania. I'm expecting to take a bike ride down to the grocery store since the weather's getting better. So that's going to slowly fade off. Although if I don't know anywhere to do a bike ride, I might still have to get some exercise. Let's see. Do I have anything to recommend? Oh, and Tuesday and Thursday I am calling off, so that will be wrong for a while. It's just based on the videos. Let's see. Yeah, mostly that game dev stuff. So, how about Makings of a Heroes, working on RTS MOBA, and doing all of the development on stream. She's pretty good about getting commentary as she's going. If you're looking for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Good night, and until next time, which is Wednesday at this point.